Reading between the lines is something we all feel like we understand the concept of, but do we really understand it to its full potential? In this video today, I'm going to go around the league. We're going to drop in on different teams' press conference and see if we could read between the lines and analyze what's going to happen before it happens in Week 12. Roll the intro. So there were a couple injuries I did want to talk about and did want to go over some press conferences. I want to look into and digest is what Dave Canales of the Carolina Panthers has to say about Jonathon Brooks. Now, this isn't a whole lot to be discussed, but reading between the lines, we could have a good idea of what we could expect from the rookie going forward.
Here we go. Great to be back out on the grass. Just a spirited practice. The guys, they look fresh. Just coming off of the week, getting our minds back and our bodies back. So just a great day, seeing some guys out there running around. Jonathon Brooks put together another great day. Really high hopes for him playing this Sunday. Thielen had a nice day.
Obviously, he didn't really give us a whole lot other than he had another great day at practice. He's hopeful he can play on Sunday, and that sounds like to me that we're going to see Jonathon Brooks immediately start taking some of that workload away from Chuba Hubbard. Now, not saying don't play Chuba Hubbard, but I am saying don't be surprised if this ends up being like a 60-40 split in Chuba's favor where Jonathon Brooks gets deployed a lot. Dave Canales had some positive things to say about him, said he had another great day, they can't wait to use him, he's going to play on Sunday. So these are all great signs for if you have Jonathon Brooks in Dynasty or if you've been stashing him on your IR this entire season. Let's transition to the Dolphins, where we actually have some real insight on what the future of Raheem Mostert in this backfield could be.
It was a healthy process.
Mike, you've made some personnel moves this season. Durham Smythe has lost snaps. Raheem Mostert has lost some carries. David Long lost his starting job. What was behind those? Were those strictly performance-based, or were you trying to send a message, particularly with David Long?
No, I think it's been the same pattern each and every season in terms of one thing that I'm very upfront with players. The second they get in the building, the second that we start talking about projected lineups or positions within a position group, I think it's important that people understand you're entitled to nothing in this world.
So right off the bat, kind of could see that, reading between the lines here, we're understanding that maybe this Dolphins offense has phased out and wants no part of Raheem Mostert. Somebody that was their almost focal back last year. I understand Devonta had some injuries which helped keep Raheem Mostert's starting job, but he was phenomenal with or without Devon Achane. And now we're starting to see little bits of the truth that maybe Raheem Mostert isn't going to be involved much going forward. He did leave the game last week due to injury, did come back into the game, but it seems like Mike McDaniel is willing to say this role is not given to him. He's got to earn it again. And that feels like to me that we're going to probably see more of Jalen Wright the rest of the season. We're going to see Devon Achane absolutely take over this backfield, but let's see if he drops any more little bits of information about Raheem Mostert.
And playing time is solved by players on the field, and the best players have to play, and that's my job to follow through with that. So, I don't look at someone lost something or someone. I look at who earned the opportunities. And it's more about the players that are getting the opportunities and less about guys doing stuff to, I don't trivialize the each and every game that's so sacred, that's, very finite for each and every player and coach in terms of you only have so many opportunities. And I don't play around with those at all. It's something that I think is important to players in general, is that not only for themselves, but teammates want the teammate next to them that best deserves that situation, and it's about them, and it's always fluctuating. So
what I got out of that was, of course, there were other names mentioned besides Raheem Mostert's name, but this kind of feels like it's Raheem Mostert to a T, where Jalen Wright's been earning the opportunities. Devon Achane has had no reason to come off of this field at all this season. So why do they feel like they need to guarantee Raheem Mostert a spot in this running back room? Obviously, I'm not saying they're going to cut him. He's clearly not going to take or vulture any rushing attempts away. We've seen him in the past have a 2-touchdown game or sprinkle in some carries or sprinkle in some targets and receptions out of the backfield. But I think those days are over. Already came out and said Devonta Smith is not playing. But I did want to talk about and just give a little insight on what he was referring to yesterday at the press conference, talking about how he worded if Devonta Smith would be good to go to play or not. And let's just roll the tape.
12-10.
Yeah.
What's the latest with Devonta?
Yeah, we'll see. See how he's feeling by the end of the day. So we'll see where that is. Got a little bit more time to figure it out.
Obviously, didn't really sound like he was going to play from the beginning. I wasn't really expecting him to play. He's got to leave it open for opportunity where there is a chance for him to play. So as we just heard there, Nick Sirianni was very iffy about whether Devonta Smith would play or not, which absolutely makes sense because moments later we got the notification Devonta Smith officially ruled out, and the body language and the dialect really speaks and confirms to how they weren't really exactly sure if Devonta Smith was a full go for Sunday. They kept alluding to, we have time, we'll see. These are all, things that just leave it up to the air. So we didn't really know for sure. But now, thanks to reporters, we do know for sure that he is not playing. Other important in and outs to know for this weekend. Couldn't find anything about Dan Campbell confirming that Sam LaPorta will play, but Sam LaPorta will play this week in Week 12. Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys will not play in Week 12. And I also had a follower on Instagram. By the way, if you're not following us on Instagram, please make sure to do so. I try to cater all the videos to my Instagram followers and people that actually do support this channel and what I'm doing on a regular basis. One of my followers and subscribers asked about the status of Austin Seibert, who's been phenomenal this year as a kicker. So let's just talk about and react to Dan Quinn speaking on a question of whether Austin Seibert will end up playing this week.
Austin Seibert told us yesterday the plan was for him to play this weekend, just seeing if that lines up with you, if you expect him to kick.
He kicked both days and trending in a really good way for us. So I want to make sure that trajectory of health for him continues, but he really had a good week. So it's we've worked hard to get back to it, and so to see that signal for him to do all the different types of kicks, the long field goals, the kickoffs, the different ways, the different locations, that's a big step for us.
So as we just heard, he's saying that Austin Seibert's trending in the right direction. All good things in terms of he's actually getting out there, kicking long field goals, partaking in kickoffs in practice. This sounds like Austin Seibert, despite the Q tag, will end up kicking for you. And if you have him on your roster, you know how important he's been to your team this season. Definitely roll him out there and definitely play him because by the way Dan Quinn is talking about it, he's going to play. And while we're on the subject of the Washington Commanders, just to pour salt in my own wound, if you don't know already, I am unfortunately a Dallas Cowboys fan. The Commanders are playing the Cowboys, and I did just want to play a little clip of him talking about the captains for this week's game.
Let's get rocking with everybody today. I'll hit you up with the captains in this game. So on offense, it'll be Biotic. We talked just the tone setter, the line of scrimmage, all the things we talked about inside. Defensively will be Dante Fowler. We thought, man, he's brought a lot of energy to our group. And last one is on special teams will be Noah Igbenogany.
So if you didn't know any of those three players, every single one of those players last year played for the Dallas Cowboys. So yes, Tyler Biotic, Dante Fowler, and Noah Igbenogany were all key players of the Dallas Cowboys team last year. That was a lot better than this one. And now he's anointing them as captains. So I think, unrelated to fantasy, the Commanders are going to absolutely beat down my Dallas Cowboys this weekend. And honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for Dan Quinn treating this like it's one of the biggest games of his life, giving the captain's nod to former Cowboys players. And I think this is going to be a bloodbath in favor of the Commanders. And finally, the last team and last group of players from a team that I wanted to discuss in injury is DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen of the Chicago Bears. Now, DeAndre Swift, despite being in and out of practice and finally logging a practice day on Friday, is supposed to be good to go to play for Sunday, which is great news. However, on the other hand, for Keenan Allen, the news is not that. Now, with someone like Keenan Allen likely to be out of the lineup, this makes somebody like Rome Odunze even more of a fantasy must start. And if you didn't watch that video, my last video talking about must start players, hint, hint, Rome Odunze is one of them, you should definitely go check that video out. I tried to keep this video short, tried to keep this video brief. I don't know how informative this really came out to be. We'll only be able to find that out on Sunday when these indications and these predictions are either true or not true. But I think it's important that I upload something right before the games kick off on Sunday. I think it's really important to understand where our fantasy players are at, what the coaches are saying about them, and it helps us just be a little more refined going into the week every single week. So this is what we're going to start doing from now on. You stuck around and watched this entire video. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. If you're new here, you like fantasy football content, make sure you subscribe down below. Costs you nothing. It would mean the absolute world to somebody like me. And of course, if you enjoyed this content, if you liked watching this video, let me know by smashing that like button down below. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again so much for watching. Hopefully we can continue this series and it gets better and better as we progress. My name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy, and I will see you in the next video.